Stefanski, after the game in Philadelphia yesterday, indicated it is his hope that all 4 quarterbacks will be available for the quote-unquote dress rehearsal against those used to be St. Louis, now Los Angeles Rams.
I just don't understand. And like, I wish, I don't know. And we'll hear from Kevin Stefanski at 1 p.m. And I know you guys will try your hardest to ask, like, why are we doing this? Would be my question. Just because, like, everybody else around the league, like you had 28 guys for the Browns that were out yesterday. To me, that's not getting ready for an NFL season. It's just not. If you've got 28 guys just hanging around and you haven't named your starting quarterback when it's a 4-man quarterback competition that became a 5-man quarterback competition when they signed Snoop, it's really 6 men because you know that Deshaun's lurking around the corner and at some point he's going to be medically cleared. Nobody has shown you anything. Like, Shedeur Sanders turned his back to the line of scrimmage twice. We're going to play some audio from Andrew Berry where he did not sound moved from that preseason debut of Shedeur Sanders a week ago.
Andrew kind of gave him the, I know you're feeling yourself right now, Shedeur, but it wasn't that great.
Yes,
but you did a good job. Proud of you, but like, it wasn't that great.
So then he gets hurt, and then we see Dillon Gabriel, and I was excited. And Dillon, to his credit, he was able to move the ball, but like, to me, he looked like a backup quarterback.
He did what he did in Oregon. He moved the sticks. He converted third downs. He got help from his receivers. He didn't get help from his receivers.
It's boring. It was forgettable. Would be my 2 words.
The fumbled exchange with him and Pierre Strong, which, by the way, they practiced that a billion times during practice. And so, and again, hey, look, if you want to get on me today because Dillon Gabriel looked like a serviceable quarterback, you're welcome to. I'll just say this. I stand by everything I said previously at the time because that's what I observed. That's what I saw with my 4 eyes. That's what I felt in the moment. And today I am willing to sit here and be fair, which not a lot of people in this business do. Usually they kind of stick to the bit. But I will be fair to Dillon and give him his credit. That opening drive was a thing of beauty. It really was. His work on third down, again, thing of beauty.
What would Kevin Stefanski's record be as the head coach of the Cleveland Browns if the games were over at the end of the first drive?
He might be at about a 750 winning percentage.
They would change the name of the Vince Lombardi Trophy to and now to crown the Super Bowl champions and award the Stefanski Trophy.
Well, there was talk at one point of someone suggested, and it didn't go anywhere, but someone suggested renaming the Vince Lombardi Trophy after Bill Belichick. And that was a little bit of a conversation.
I feel like that ship's probably sailed now at that point.
I'm pretty convinced that ship has absolutely sailed.
Yeah.
To the chagrin of one Miss Hudson, but that's a different conversation for a different day that we are not going to have on this program today. But the conversation we are going to have is Dillon Gabriel. Did his performance yesterday sway you in another direction? Again, that was the first time that I have seen him on a football field where I said, you know what? I get it. That is a prototypical Andrew Berry, Kevin Stefanski type of quarterback. I can see that. But to your point, Nick, yeah, it was not greatness personified. I'm not going to sit here and say that he should start week 1 against the Bengals.
It surely didn't feel like the start of something special.
Right. But he was efficient. The offense moved. These are things that we didn't see in practice. Dom was in the room with me yesterday as we were watching the game, and I basically said, where's this guy been? It was a revelation to me to watch that yesterday.
Better game quarterback than practice quarterback, evidently. Dillon Gabriel looked like a backup quarterback to me. And that's fine because, like you said, it was better than what I had expected it to be. Like, the one thing was, boy, did he look little out there compared to everybody else, but no batted balls at the line of scrimmage. I was impressed about that.
By the way, I was expecting him to look like Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked yesterday.
And that should be
DTR still stinks too.
And that should be the story. Like this Browns defensive line is going to be so good. I really do believe like that's a good Philly O-line that they went against, even though it was just their twos. Right. Like this Browns defensive line is going to be awesome. It's just how much are we going to really be able to enjoy it while we're still trying to figure out this quarterback thing?
He didn't exactly stretch the field like you had said earlier, Nick. You don't want to give him a lot of credit for a dink and dunk offense.
Right.
But let's be honest about it. That's like a big part of Kevin Stefanski's playbook. It is slowly working your way down the field, taking what the defense is willing to give you. At the same time, if it's there, taking a pop down the field. But I almost felt like watching that opening drive, I kind of felt like Kevin was trying to get Dillon into a rhythm early, like to build his confidence up. Because again, all people including myself, and again, I'm one of the more vocal critics, but all people like me have been talking about is how bad he's been. So, and clearly Dillon has heard that, he has seen that, and that led to the comments he made to Aditi Kikabwalo on News 5 that got taken out of context by the national media and went viral, right? And him basically referring to reporters and the media in totality as we're entertainers. And hey, I'll wear that. That's fine. I mean, I've been called a lot worse than an entertainer, and I take no umbrage with anything he said. I don't have a problem with what he said to Aditi. I don't have a problem with how he clarified his comments because, unfortunately, we in the media, as entertainers and media, put him in position he had to clarify. But I really felt like Kevin went out of his way yesterday to get this kid in a rhythm, give him quick, simple throws so that he could just get that on-field confidence going. Yeah. Because I got to be honest with you, man, that opening drive, I never saw that in training camp from him. I never saw him start from his own 20 or 30-yard line and in team 11 on 11, whether he was with the ones or the twos, where he was just banging out passes and they were working their way down the field slowly but surely. Like, that was the first time I saw that from him since he was drafted. And I'll give him credit for that. But I think that's what Kevin went for yesterday, Nick, was to really get him off and running with quick, easy passes. Now, the next thing I want to see from him, because I have seen this in practice, I have seen Gabriel take shots down the field,
right,
with mixed results. That's not really revelatory there with young quarterbacks. Guess what? When they're taking shots down the field in practice, the results tend to be mixed. That's the way she goes. Okay. But that's the next thing because we saw Shedeur took a couple shots down the field. Like, that's the next thing I want to see from Dillon Gabriel is can he kind of help create something down the field?
You know, that quote from Stefanski kind of aggravated me a little because I wonder,
it's true.
I wonder, would he have had that same take if it was a different quarterback? Like, we know he really likes Dillon Gabriel, and Dillon Gabriel's kind of his guy. How many times did we see Stefanski throw Baker under the bus for turnovers or Jameis Winston under the bus for turnovers when he's literally trying to tread water in a dead season, which Deshaun Watson screwed up? Like, I mean, how many different guys did we see Kevin Stefanski just quite literally rip his hair out over interceptions? but his boy Dillon Gabriel goes out there and throws one, and he goes, actually, everything's fine here. You can look away. Not all interceptions are created equal. Two receivers in the area. One ran the wrong route. What could you do? Everything has. Things happen. Like,
I'm going to go Dillon Gabriel on you. That's not the first time Kevin Stefanski has ever said that.
Okay,
he has said that repeatedly before.
I've heard him say it before, but like, I don't know, something about it was like, yeah,
I don't know.
Dillon Gabriel's your boy. You're trying to cover for him because he went out there and played all right.
I think you're doing a little NFL media Adam Schefter there. I think that's what you're doing right there, trying to not get, it's something that Kevin has said on multiple occasions about other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I guess, is this me being the entertainer and not the competitor?
Yes.
Shame on me. Dillon Gabriel, hand up, guilty as charged.
Yes. You're being a little unfair right now. Kevin says that all the time about interceptions.
Yeah, Kevin. I mean, I'm
there
not.
First of all, okay, so there was this debate. Did Deontay Johnson, who by the way should be on the bubble, did
even more so now with this Isaiah Bond thing, and boy, doesn't Jamari Thrash look like the real deal,
right? But I do worry if Jamari Thrash is just the training camp MVP type thing.
For sure.
But there's a debate whether Deontay Johnson pulled up or loafed or whatever you want to say on the pick six. If you go, and I have watched that play 150 times trying to figure out who messed up, who to blame that on. Yes, Dillon Gabriel was partially blamed. He should either he probably should have just thrown the football away instead of trying to throw into that window. Somebody or multiple people were in the wrong spot at the wrong time. There was clearly a lack of attention to detail on the routes that were run on that play. And I think that was Kevin Stefanski's point in that quote where he's talking about not all interceptions are created equal. That's his way of saying that wasn't Dillon Gabriel's fault. Yes, it goes in his stat line, his box score, that he threw a pick six, but that wasn't his bad. That was on somebody else. And everybody on social media wanted to point to it being Deontay Johnson's fault on that play, why it turned into a pick six. I have no idea. I don't know what the assignment was. Even if I try and ask Kevin Stefanski that question today on the Zoom call, which we'll carry for you here coming up at 1 o'clock on the Fan, I don't think Kevin's going to give me an answer on that. But, a lot of folks are trying to speculate that it was Deontay Johnson's mistake, and that is just yet another sign of some of the problems he's had in previous stops with doing what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it, and being all about the program and things like that.
I saw Shedeur Sanders run that same play, scored a touchdown. Just saying.
Oh, look, he did look better to me.
Right.
I mean, he did. Like, I've been saying that all morning. Like, I'm acknowledging that he did something in that game that I had yet to observe of him, which led to my very harsh criticism that I acknowledge was harsh. But I'm also taking a moment to be fair here and say, he looked all right yesterday. He looked like he belonged on that field. Which was a complete contrast to what I had been observing in practice. So I am giving him his credit. Now, what I will not do is I'm not going to sit here and say he's a franchise quarterback in the making and that they should turn this thing over to him, because I got news for you. Much like I said with Shedeur against the Panthers, okay? Shedeur does not come out of that game against the Panthers looking as good as he did if he was playing starters. Dillon Gabriel does not come out of that game against the Philadelphia Eagles looking as competent as he did if he was going against the starters. Like, there has to be a little context in here too, an acknowledgement. Both of these guys, and this is what I've tried to hammer home to fans, and it's partially my fault for not articulating it clearly enough. Both Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders are developmental players. They're not NFL starters yet.
That's not your fault. That's not your fault, though, for not communicating that to the fans. That's on the organization. Then don't call it a four-man quarterback competition. Don't market it that way. They're producing an entire docuseries called Man Under Center, trying to figure out if it could be Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders come week one. They have set the fans up to have loftier expectations for these two developmental QBs than what's understandable. And that's what's lost on me. And I think that's what's lost on the fans. We've got somebody like Ben in Akron calling in saying that I think these rookies could be ready to go sooner than we thought because Dillon Gabriel had a couple first downs in a preseason game. You're ready to say that? He'd get killed against the Cincinnati Bengals, who don't even have a good defense. He'd get killed week 2 in Baltimore against the Ravens.
Well, I go back to the sideline interaction that got captured and was put on social media between Shedeur and Miles. Miles clearly likes Shedeur, but he made it very clear that Miles, if Miles is going against Shedeur, he'd be added to the QB graveyard and the front lawn there. Hey, could I have gotten out? No, you wouldn't have. I would have killed you, Shedeur. Okay, let's not get carried away. And again, let's not get overly carried away about the Shedeur's debut. Let's not get carried away about Dillon's debut. Let's look at it through realistic lenses here. But also at the same time, acknowledge both players performed well. Okay, they performed well. But that doesn't mean they're ready. Just because they perform well in preseason does not mean they're ready for this.
You ready for my realistic lens? Okay, here we go. Realistic lens. Joe Flacco is your week 1 starter September 7th at the stadium against the Cincinnati Bengals. You hope he could stay upright as long as he possibly can, and you hope you lose enough games because you got 2 first-round picks next year, and either Drew Aller, Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, or Lenora Sellers come on down because you are the next man up. We're going to do this all over again next April. We're going to do it again through next training camp, and we'll probably be sitting here doing it through the next preseason, trying to measure the first-round rookie that they take in 2026 against these 2 developmental guys that they're bringing along the way, because that's all we get to do. We get to sit here and we get to wait for this team to figure it out.